Hello, and welcome to the Daring to Succeed podcast. I'm your host, Juliana Yao Jorgen, and today I'm back for part two of our two-part series on how business leaders and VAs can build a partnership to grow both of their businesses together. With me again is Hannah Goodman, who spent over a decade as an executive assistant in fast-paced corporate environments, including the NHS, private medical practices, and executive recruitment. She now operates her own VA business and helps aspiring and new VAs launch and grow successful virtual assistant businesses of their very own. In part one of our series, we covered the business leader side of the partnership, how to find the perfect VA match, what work to delegate, and how to set them up for success. Today, we're going to dive into how VAs can find their niche, their dream clients, and start the relationship on the right foot. Welcome back to the show, Hannah.
Hi, Juliana. Thank you so much for having me back today. I've been so excited to join you again.
Yeah, it's so great to have you back, and I can't wait to talk about this part of the conversation and the relationship. Before we get started, I think it'd be really great if you shared with us sort of what encouraged you to start your own VA business after working so long in corporate.
So that is an excellent first question. The thing that really encouraged me to start my own virtual assisting business is when I was actually working in the corporate world. I was working doing 8 till 6 every day in London, doing the long commutes on the train, going into London back and forth. And it was just so boring, time consuming. I'm sure so many of you out there probably do exactly the same. And it's just like, you almost get to the point where you think to yourself, is this my life? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Traveling every single day just to sit in an office, do work that you might not even enjoy. And it's mainly just to pay your bills. And I really got to the point where I was thinking, something has to be done. I want something better for myself. And that's when I came up with the idea of virtual assisting and setting up my own virtual assisting business. This meant that I could work the hours that I wanted to work. It also meant that I'd be able to do the work that I actually wanted to do and work with people that I actually want to work with, not people that I don't necessarily feel comfortable or enjoy working with.
Yeah. And I think that's such a familiar story for so many of us who have started our own business, and probably for our listeners who are excited to maybe launch their own VA services and build a business from that. So maybe we can start there. Like for somebody who's just getting started, they're feeling something similar, or maybe their own experience of, it's time for me to get out on my own. How do they even get started with trying to figure out what services they can provide if they're looking to become a VA?
So that is an excellent question, because a lot of people, when they're first thinking about becoming a virtual assistant, their first question to themselves is, what can I actually offer?
Mhm.
And how can I help someone? And am I actually able to provide those services for someone? And you know what? There are actually so many services which people don't realize they are able to offer, but they actually can. So, for example, I actually do have my own PDF which I offer to people, and it's called Your Dream VA Service List. And on this list, it shows people all the different things which they're able to offer. For example, you can offer things like admin email support, or social media management, or website and tech support. And there's just so many things that people just don't realize that they're able to do themselves for, say, their actual selves, or maybe for their friends and family. But you can actually incorporate that into helping other people and businesses and clients, and you can really build businesses around that.
Yeah, and I really love the list that I downloaded for myself too, just out of curiosity. And I was looking through it and thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I had somebody to help me with so much of this.
Yes, so the list is quite extensive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be an expert in all these things on this list. You may only be able to do 5 things on this list, but as long as you do those 5 things really well
Yeah.
and you're an expert at those things, then that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, and from the side of the business owner trying to find a VA, I really like that concept because I prefer someone who was really good at a couple things instead of constantly trying to figure out something new where maybe I can find another VA who's really specialized in something instead of spreading somebody thin and like them not actually doing a great job at the
Exactly.
thing that I need done well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Because, like, there are some people out there who need help with, for example, social media management. They just want to have somebody out there who can post a certain amount of content a week for them, but they might not necessarily have the time to do it for themselves. So if they hire a virtual assistant who specializes in that industry, then they can do that for them. Another really good example is travel support.
Mm.
Sometimes people just don't have the time to want to book their travel arrangements. In businesses, people often have to travel to different parts of the world for whatever reason, and they can hire their own, say, travel agent who can just take that all off their hands for them. So, if you're a virtual assistant out there or someone who's thinking about becoming a virtual assistant, and you, for example, love booking your own holidays, which I for sure know I love booking my own holidays, I love traveling. That was something that I actually ended up doing. And you can do it yourself. You can book other people's travel arrangements because not only is it something that you love doing, but it's actually something that can really help somebody else.
Yeah, and I can actually plus one that because similar to Hannah, I love scheduling my own stuff, but I was talking to my husband the other day and he had his VA at work do his business travel. I'm like, "Why would you do that?" And he's like, "I just don't want to do it."
It makes so much sense because booking travel, flights, train fares, hotel accommodation, things like that take so much time.
Yeah.
It's not just a matter of, oh, yeah, I want to go there, book, it's done.
Right.
There's so much more logistics that goes behind things like that. And that is an excellent thing which you can delegate to a virtual assistant. And virtual assistants out there who like doing things like that for themselves, that's an excellent service which you can actually provide for people.
Yeah. And I think it's just amazing how many things you have on this list that people can download for free.
Yep, it is
Um,
definitely for free.
because there really are so many different parts of a business where a virtual assistant can help, where either the business owner doesn't like doing the work, or they're just not very good at it, or it's just not something they want to spend their time on because their focus is on client delivery and building their business, not booking flights, even if it is fun sometimes for some of us.
Yeah, it frees up their time because if it's from their business perspective, that's usually something that they just want done for them.
Yeah.
And that's why that is usually quite a very, it's an excellent industry to be able to help people in.
Yeah. So, once they've kind of gone through that list, picked out the things that they're either good at or really enjoy doing, where do they go next? Because I know we talked a little bit about like finding a specialty or a niche
Yes,
to focus on.
absolutely. So usually I advise virtual assistants to niche down into something that they can specialize in, something that they know and can do very well. So a lot of the time, a question I get asked is, how do I know what to niche down to? And a very good way to think about that is to think, what do you enjoy most? What would get you up in the morning? What excites you? or it could be either maybe something, a job that which you have worked in previously in the past. So experience in something that you're very good at.
Mm.
So, for example, when I first started my virtual assisting business, I niched down to medical practice management.
Yeah.
And the reason why I did that is because I used to work in the medical industry and I was very good at it and I really enjoyed it. So that's what encouraged me to specialize in that industry.
Yeah, and that's such a smart way to go about it. I mean, even though I'm not a virtual assistant, I kind of did the same thing where with my coaching, I really focused in on executives and leaders who are trying to navigate really tricky situations because that's the world I know and that's the stuff that I really enjoy doing anyway. So I really love that advice of trying to figure out where is it that brings you joy? Where is it that you want to be spending your time?
Yeah, because like your best niche is often hiding in your previous experience.
Yeah. Yep, that makes total sense. And I mean, obviously, if you're trying to start a business that is taking you out of a situation that's, less than fun, or you're trying to build a business that you can really sustain and grow for the long term, it's got to be something that you want to put your heart into because otherwise, why are you doing it?
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's your business and you're not having to do those long commutes anymore on the cold, horrible mornings. You get to have the complete benefit of working, doing exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that is the most important thing because it's going to be your business and you get to work from anywhere in the world where you want to work, whether it's your bedroom, whether it's on holiday, whether it's by the pool. You get to do what you want to do and with the benefit of specializing in the niche that you enjoy most.
Yeah. And as somebody who is on the side of wanting to find a virtual assistant, uh that that really makes such a big difference because you can tell the difference between somebody who wants to do a good job and somebody who's just doing it because, someone said that there's a lot of money to be had in
Yeah.
whatever it is because maybe you're not great at it. It's not really the expertise that you can bring, or you just don't really care,
Mm-hmm.
and that really impacts, like, the quality of work that you produce and, like, referrals, which is where so many of us get our repeat.
Absolutely. Yeah, so no, that is an excellent point. Because if you have, say, somebody who, when you niche in something, that means when you get a client, you are working for your ideal client.
Mhm.
So when it came to me, on my personal experience working with medical practice management, I was able to work with private consultants, which meant I enjoyed working in that industry.
Yeah.
And they knew that they were going to get the best um, expertise off me, providing them with the best service to do the job which they needed being done.
Yeah. And having sort of looked for a VA to help me with my social media, I can also attest to how much it matters to find that right, segment as well, not just the type of task,
Hmm.
because the VA I was referred to was great for what they did. They produced really great visuals and really understood standard marketing practices, but the type of stuff I was trying to do for my business was so different than what their norm was that even though I was referred over because they were great at one thing, they didn't actually meet my needs. So we ended up spending time together trying to make it work when it didn't because
Yeah.
the match wasn't quite there, where I probably would have been better served by somebody who understood, first of all, coaching and the general
Yes.
practice, and kind of how coaches attract and retain clients versus how maybe like a product based company creates their social media to sell a physical product.
Exactly. That's an excellent point because in your case, then it means that you would have benefited more from having a VA who specialised in your industry,
Yeah,
which is more the coaching side of things. Because a
exactly.
lot of the time, virtual assistants think, oh, I'll just be a general VA.
Yeah,
And it's great. I'm not knocking it. Being a general VA can work. A lot of the time, virtual assistants like to start off doing that because they think and believe that that can open the doors to potentially getting more work, better clients. But in actual fact, sometimes when you actually niche down to something a bit more specialized, that's when you showcase your expertise
yeah,
and you actually end up getting more clients and you're more respected in that field.
yeah. And I mean, both of us know how hard it is to turn someone away if they're like knocking at your door asking for help
Yeah,
and it's not the thing you want to do. But we were also chatting before we started recording about how it's an opportunity to kind of build out your network for referrals as well.
absolutely.
Right, where, like, I started off doing some resume work because it's kind of part of what people are looking for when they're working on their careers, but I just didn't like doing it, and there were so many people who were better at it and actually loved just working on resumes and cover letters that I ended up stopping that type of work and building out a referral network of, "Okay, if you need that type of work, here's some great people who can do it for you." And then they do the opposite where if they help somebody get a job and they needed help kind of acclimating, they'd send them over.
Exactly. And again, that's a really good point because you're basically delegating
Mhm.
something that you don't want to do or you don't find as enjoyable.
Yes.
We'll put it that way. You're delegating that to someone else who specializes in it.
Yeah,
And then that frees up your time to be able to be doing and focusing on the job that you want to be doing more of. Um, And that is also a really good way where somebody could hire maybe not just even one virtual assistant, they can have two,
sure.
where they may have somebody who specializes more in, say, social media and have somebody else to help them with the marketing side of things
Yeah.
or other things. It just varies. So I do really always say it's always a good idea to specialize in something.
Yeah. And and again, coming from the business owner side, I can vouch for that because I'd much rather work with, 2, 3, even 5 different VAs who are really good at what they do
Mm.
than one person who's constantly struggling to keep up with a certain part of the business that I need to outsource to someone.
Yeah, because then actually you're not just wasting time with them, you're wasting money.
Yeah,
Because if you say just have a generalist virtual assistant helping you, as I've said before, they're not an expert in what you need help with.
yeah,
You end up spending time training them to do something how you may want it to be. Whereas it goes back to me saying if you had that person who knew exactly what they were doing, they'd be able to do it. Once you've obviously shown them how you like it,
mhm.
you have to still communicate with them and tell them how you want something to look and be presented. But once they know how you do it and how you like it, they can just go ahead and do it themselves.
Yeah, that makes all the difference, and, like, I even know somebody who had hired, someone part-time into their business, sort of almost like an in-house generalist VA, and it was the exact scenario that you've outlined here, Hannah, where she spent so much time training this person on new things that she wasn't actually getting value back. She was actually paying to train this person or paying for this person to figure it out instead of maybe going your route and hiring a specialized VA who already knew how to do the job
Mm,
and could just go and get the job done and we move on. We
yeah,
we we just keep either repeat the work if it's repeatable or if it's a one-time project. They got the
exactly.
outcome they wanted.
Yeah. And it just makes it the process just so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess once someone who is trying to get started as a VA, they've kind of figure out the type of work that they want to do and the niche that they want to specialize in. How do they start getting clients? Because I know for any small business owner who's just
Yep.
getting started, that is probably like the biggest question. Where do I find my clients?
That
How do I
is
find
the big
my
question.
clients?
I'm not even joking. The amount of people I have asked me all the time, how do I get clients?
Yeah.
And it's just almost the most spoken about thing, especially when first starting any business. You want to know, how do I get clients? It's one thing knowing what services you want to offer, knowing your niche, having your pricing and packaging sorted. But how do I get clients? So I can actually tell you a quick story about how I got my first clients.
Oh,
Um, so when I first started out my virtual assisting business, obviously I worked out what services I can do, what my niche is, my pricing and packaging. And I actually realized because I was specializing in medical practice management, I started to reach out to private hospitals in London. And I ended up finding a really good contact where I managed to build a very good relationship with an operational manager at a private hospital in London. And when we got speaking, we realized that one of the consultants that was in the hospital that she worked at was actually looking for a virtual assistant. So she immediately referred them to me.
yeah.
And that was literally my way of getting my foot in the door into this hospital. And it was incredible because I started off 10 hours, we built it to 20 hours, and it grew. And then from there, I got referred to other consultants. So much so, it grew to the point where I had so much work coming my way that I had to actually hire associates to help me do it. I mean, I'll say it's a good problem to have when you're too busy, but I was too busy at one point, and I had to hire associates to help me, and it built this incredible business. And then from there, from building this business was when I started to actually have people say to me, like, how did you build this business?
Yeah.
And it really was, that was the point where I was like, I can help people grow their businesses and I can help people build their own businesses.
Yeah.
So that was like my way of, say, getting clients. But the way I would help, say, somebody get their own clients is to start with, reach out to people that you know. Because a lot of the time, you've actually already got someone you know in your own network.
Yeah.
People don't realize or think that they actually already know someone who could do with their help. Reach out to people in your contacts. Reach out to your Facebook friends, your LinkedIn community. There are so many people that actually don't think, I actually probably already know someone in my own community who may be able to be my first client.
Yeah.
If that doesn't always work, then another way is and this is actually a way that I help people in my one-to-one sessions, especially, is I would, by starting off with a pre-session questionnaire, I would send through to you. And on this pre-session questionnaire, I would have listed on there questions for you to complete. For example, you would tell me your services, your niche, your pricing, your packaging, your website, and I would be able to give your whole website and your whole business a complete audit. And during this audit, I'd be able to give you personalized feedback
Hmm.
on your business. So then when we get onto a session together, I'd be able to dive in with personal detail about how to help you get and land your clients.
That's so amazing because I know I agree with you that like probably have a lot of clients in our network hidden somewhere, but it is really daunting trying to figure out for yourself how to even like find these people, how to start talking to them. And I know having worked with a few different coaches on my business, I wish I had somebody like you who could actually do a personal audit for me when I was starting out, because I ended up finding a lot of coaches who were like, "This is the thing that you have to do, and this is gonna work for anyone."
Mm,
And it was a lot of work trying to, like, basically fit what's that phrase? Fit a square peg into a round hole,
yeah.
where it's like, okay, maybe that's perfect for a specific type of business,
Yep.
but without somebody like Hannah who has, personal experience building this type of business, you might end up with just a lot of generic information about how to get clients, how to talk to people that doesn't necessarily work for not only VAs, but the specific type of business you want to build as a VA.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want to have, say, somebody help you where it's just like a very general way of helping someone.
Mhm.
You want it to be more personalized, more tailored to you and tailored to your needs.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, not every client is meant to be your client.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone who specializes in one thing isn't going to be able to help with you. Like, it just varies very differently. So I really love the way that you just said about how you've had somebody, say, coach you in the past or help you, and it just wasn't always like entirely exactly what you'd hoped for.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they've been able to build their business to, you know, the type of business they want, and they've obviously been able to help others as well. But finding that right person who understands your business and what you're trying to build makes such a big difference.
It's huge,
Hmm.
because if I was, say, just giving general advice to everyone, it'd be like, right, you've just got to do this, this, and this, and that's it.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. You really need to have tailored advice. And that is why I really do um, this pre-session questionnaire, 'cause I just think it's so important for me to get to know you and your business. And not only am I giving you advice on how to land your clients during this session, but I'm also telling you how to improve your business, the back end, where you may be spending too much money.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I've said to someone, tell me where you're spending money in your business. And I've said to them, why are you spending an extra, say, £200 a month on that? You don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't even have a business, say, running yet to need to be having all these high expenses going out. Wait until you've got this and that set up.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so great to have the right type of mentor, because there's so many businesses out there just trying to sell you more stuff for your business
Mhm.
that unless you've got somebody who's been through the fire herself and kind of learned what is actually needed, you could end up spending so much money on the wrong thing because another business had just really good marketing.
Yeah, and that is really an excellent point, because there are some businesses out there which have excellent marketing, and they might have a very good following as well. However, the general advice that they're giving is what's increasing their following,
Mhm.
essentially,
Yeah.
because everyone feeds off this excellent advice which they think they're getting, but it's not personal to them. They just think it's talking to them, but then once you get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going to really help that individual person, having somebody dive deep into your business is sometimes exactly what someone needs. And that is usually what a virtual assistant needs, to just help them, especially with their own personal sales and marketing side. So, for example, when I say start helping someone land their first one or two clients, I say to them, let me have a look at your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
Right now, your profile isn't actually screaming what you're doing.
Right.
Like, what is it that you do? What do you specialize in? It might tell me what services you're offering, but it's not telling me what you're specializing in. And so many people miss the catch of use your LinkedIn profile as your sales page.
Right.
Like, use it. You've got it. Use it.
Yeah. No, that's all such excellent advice. And for the listeners out there who are raring to go and getting ready to kind of work through all of this, I'll make sure that Hannah's magic list of VA tasks
Yep.
or
My dream VA service list.
yes, the link to that is in the show notes so that you can get going and that all your contact information is there as well for when they're kind of ready to take that plunge and put everything together, figure out their services, figure out how to really attract those first clients and get the ball rolling.
Yeah. And I've also got a book called Your VA Business, Your Dream Life. And it really talks you through everything in how to set up your business, again, your services, how to niche down, how to do your pricing, and how to set out your boundaries, and even working out how many hours you want to actually be offering. Like, I've once had somebody say to me, I offer a package of 40 hours a week. And I've said to them, but can you actually really realistically offer that amount of hours a week? And they're like, that's a good point. I went, you work full time, don't you? And then it gets the clock's ticking. Oh, yes. I'm like, so basically, this book really, really does dive deep into helping you think about what you can offer and how to do it so it aligns with you and any potential clients as well.
Oh, amazing. So many resources out there, and we will make sure all of them are in the show notes for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to all the listeners who hung out to the very end. And we will see you next time.